simply because of the fact that this particular car has done over 180,000 miles, and because it's a Mercedes, this is a perfect example of why Mercedes are who they are and where they are in the world car manufacturing system. This car, which is not far off 200,000 miles, drives almost as good as it did when it came off the showroom. Now, how many car manufacturers can make claims like that? Now, 0 to 60 test, 3, 2, 1, and we're going. 60. It's also got bags of power. How many car manufacturers can make a car and after 180,000 miles, the interior is perfect, the exterior is perfect, the mechanics are perfect? I mean, it's just unheard of. It's for that reason that why people go to Morocco, every other taxi is a Mercedes, a 30-year-old taxi as well. Now, with this car, the only fault I can find after all these miles is there's a bit of a knock in the steering as you drive along. Could be the anti-roll bars, could be the track rod ends, could be anything. It's obviously a push issue, and there's tiny bit of play there, but nothing excessive at all. In fact, if I give the car a bit of a wiggle test, it does boat about and it does meander. You know, you are going to have warm bushes underneath at a car of that mileage, but that can be rectified. So anybody thinking about buying one of these is obviously going to be buying a second-hand one, so don't let stuff like that put you off. But the first thing you want to do is look at the steering. Now, the interior of the car, the center console is very complicated. Unless you know what all these buttons are for, there's no way you're going to figure this out while you're belting down the motorway at 70 miles an hour. So there's a lot going on there, and to be fair, I wouldn't even know where to begin. I can't even find the heating controls. Oh, they're up here. That's very complicated. As far as I'm concerned, that's a plug. I don't want to see that in cars. In cars, I want to see hot, cold, fast or slow for the fan. The instrument cluster, very nice design, very clear, yet this driving position, it is obstructed by the steering wheel. Now, I can obviously move the steering wheel, but then I'm not driving in my desired position. So, could be room to move that around. In fact, I wonder why you can't actually move the dials. That'd be a lot easier, wouldn't it? Now, the wing mirrors are a little bit too low. You have to turn your head to look at them rather than be able to glance with your eyes. This is too much of a strain to look in one motion. Small mirrors too, not a lot of vision there. And the rear view vision is slightly obstructed by the headrest, but not to a big degree, so it wouldn't be a problem really, even if you had 3 people in the back. Now, this is a long car, it's a heavy car. Let's see what it's like on the corners. Well, it does struggle with the corners, I must admit, but it doesn't throw you all over the place like a big French car would. It does feel heavy, and in fact the steering, even with the power steering, it is a heavy car. It does feel big and it does feel heavy. And I think if you had 4 people, 5 people in this car, you would certainly know about it. But this is a car that's designed to be filled up with luggage, filled up with people, driven across the European continent or wherever. So I would concentrate on the steering if you're going to be test driving one of these second-hand, because it does seem to have some issues with the steering. Very heavy. The car is loose and wobbling. So there are bush issues. Now the brakes, let's see what the brakes are like. I won't do an emergency stop, I'm just going to do a very firm brake. And I'm doing 50 miles an hour now. 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh my word, they're good. Well, there's nothing wrong with the brakes, I can assure you. Obviously they're exactly the same as they were when they came out of the showroom, because they've been maintained. Steering's like this because it hasn't been maintained. Every caliper works in perfect synchronization. You can apply a pressure gradually to the brakes. The brakes on this car are fantastic. Look at it this way, this car's done 180,000 miles. It still drives fantastic. The engine still pulls like a train. The only issues this car has are minor issues which would not cost a lot of money to fix. To change all the bushes underneath the car, you're talking peanuts, you're talking beer money. These cars are truly fantastic.